Welcome students. Today we'll discuss about the new topic, that is principles of inheritance and variation. Principles of inheritance and variation. So, first of all, let you know what is inheritance and variation. We have heard that every living being produces offspring that resembles their parents in certain fundamental characters, so that the living being reproduce the offspring which are very similar to them in certain aspect, in certain fundamental characters. Every species, like the offspring of dogs will resemble the dog, the offspring of cow, that is the calf, will resemble the characters with cow, the characters of the offspring of lion will resemble the lion, so that it is important for an individual in a species. In one species, the offspring will resemble their parents. The offspring resemble their parents in fundamental characters. Resemble the parents. How does it happen that the offspring resemble their parents? Because there are the characters. Characters are transferred from parents to the next generation. And what is that? Characters are transferred from parents to the next generation. And this phenomena is called as the inheritance. The transfer of characters from the parents to the next generation is called as the inheritance. And this mechanism of transfer of character is called as the heredity. Yes. What is the heredity? The mechanism of transfer of character. Okay, that is called as heredity, or the transmission of character from the parents to their offspring. And during transfer of character, we have seen that the offsprings are never completely resemble their parents. There is certain variation. In every generation there are variation. They vary from their parents. Offspring vary from their parents. How does this variation comes from? The variation between the two generations come because of the sexual reproduction. In sexual reproduction, there are more variation developed in the offspring than their parents. Due to the variation occur in the offspring due to the gamete formation. What happened in the gamete formation? During the gamete formation in diploid organism especially, what happened? The meiosis takes place. That is, the gamete formation in the diploid organism occur through the meiosis. And in meiosis, in prophase 1, what happened? The homologous genes are exchanged. The genes are exchanged, so that the exchange of genes occur. Exchange of genes occur between the homologous chromosome, so that causes the variation. What is homologous chromosome? Homologous chromosome are those chromosomes which are present in pair and they are responsible for the same type of character. They carry the alleles for the similar character. One of the homologous chromosome comes from the mother and other comes from the father. Homologous chromosome. So the variation comes into the generations due to the crossing over or the exchange of genes between the homologous chromosome. Now, and the second way for the variation is, what is that? That is the gametic fusion, because the gamete comes from two different parents. Gamete comes from different parents. It is responsible for the genetic recombination. Genetic recombination. So, the variation and the heredity. These are two terms which are very important to understand. Heredity is the transmission of character from the parents to the next generation, and variation is the differences that exist among the individual of a species, like that no one is similar to anyone within the one individual is not at all similar to other individual in the same species. Understand? That is the difference existing among the individuals of species. What is variation? The differences between the individual of a species, and that differences comes in a species because of the formation of gamete and the gametic fusion. That is the gamete formation and the gametic fusion. Okay, while we are discussing, so what is the genetics? What is the genetics? Genetics is the branch of biology. It is the branch of biology which discuss with the, or which deals with the study of inheritance of character. Study of inheritance of character. Inheritance of character. And when we are discussing about the genetic, we should not forget to discuss about the person, that person named as Gregor Johann Mendel. Who was Gregor John Mendel? Gregor John Mendel was the father of genetics. This is the father of genetics, because the laws of inheritance which he proposed are still applicable in our life cycle. Father of genetics, and he was born in July 1822 in Austria. He was born in July 1822 in Austria. Actually, it was the mathematician, but he has a keen interest in the biology, especially in the hybridization process. Okay, and then he took a study material. When he started his study on genetics, he took the study material, that is a garden pea, which is known as the Pisum sativum. He chosen the Pisum sativum as his study material. And why did he chosen the Pisum sativum as a study material or the experimental material because of this certain reason. What are those reasons which made the Mendel to select the Pisum sativum as his study material? Because these P has very different type of pure contrasting characters, pure contrasting varieties, that is the large number of true breeding varieties. It has the large number of true breeding varieties, and peas are normally self-pollinated. These plants are self-pollinated. But if the self-pollination fails, what happened? They can go for the cross-pollination also. They can go for cross-pollination. And what happens if the self-pollination does not occur? Or we can go for the cross-pollination by removing its anther from because the flowers are bisexual. So that we can remove its anther by the process of emasculation and can bring about the cross pollination by the artificial means. So cross pollination is also possible in the pea. Third is, it is the annual plant. Annual plant means it can produce the large number of progeny or the large number of offsprings in 3 to 4 months. In 3 to 4 months it can produce the large number of progeny. And so very large number of seeds can be produced in a single generation, and it is very easy to cultivate this plant. It is easy to cultivate. There are these reasons, because of that Mendel chosen the Pisum sativum for his study material. It can be easily cultivated, easy to cultivate. So what are the reasons because of that Pisum sativum was chosen by the Mendel? The first is the large number of true breeding varieties, and that is the first large number of true breeding varieties means it has the straight contrasting characters, like for the shape of the seed, for the color of the seed, for the height of the plant, for the color of pod, for the shape of pod, for the position of the flower, and the color of flower, and for this it has this clear contrasting forms. What is the first character? That is the shape of the seed. The shape of seed, and here there are two type of character, one which is the dominant character and other which is the recessive character. The dominant character is one which can be expressed in the heterozygous condition. And what is heterozygous condition we'll discuss later when we're discussing about the genetics terminology, those terms which are very frequently used in the genetics. So shape of the seed, there are two shapes of the seed, whether the plant's seed will be round, which is the dominant character, or the wrinkle, which is recessive character. When color of the seed, yellow is dominant over green. Height, tall is dominant over dwarf. Color of the pod, green is dominant over yellow. And these are independent, these character, that is one character is independent of the other character. Why they are independent, then that also we will discuss when we will study about the Mendel's law of inheritance. And then the shape of the pod, in shape of the pod, inflated pod is dominant over the constricted pod. And the position of flower, axial position is dominant over the terminal position. And the height of the color of flower, where the purple color flower is dominant over the white color flower. So there are 7 characters with their contrasting form, that is the shape of the seed, round and wrinkle, color of seed, yellow and green, and height of the plant, tall and dwarf, color of body, green and yellow, shape of pod, inflated and constricted, position of flower, axial and terminal, with the position of and the color of flower, that is purple or white. So he chosen his study material, that is for proposing the laws of inheritance. But what happened, that Mendel's law could not get the recognition. Because of certain reason he could not get the recognition. And he was the first scientist. Who used the statistics in the biology. He was the first to use the statistic in the biology. That is what? Statistics in biology. But because of certain reason, his work could not get recognition at that time. Even he could not get the recognition up to his death. What was the reason? Because the first reason is that his ideas were ahead of that time. Because when he proposed the law of inheritance, he used the term factor, that there are certain factors which carry the characters from the one generation to another generation, and till that time the factor was not discovered. This factor which the Mendel proposed, which is responsible for the transmission of character from one generation to the next generation, that factor could not be discovered at that time. So the people, and at that time the Darwin laws were very famous, so all were busy in discussing about the Darwin's only, and his laws were not accepted by the other biologists. And second is that absence or the lack of the proper publication. His journals could not be published properly. His journals could not be published, and the scientists were unaware about the cytological basis of heredity. The scientists were unaware about the cytological basis of heredity. They did not trust when the Mendel said that there are the factors which carry the genes from which carry the characters from one generation to another generation. So, and those factors now we call them as the genes. So at that time, because microscopes were also not discovered, so the advanced microscopes was not discovered, so genes could not be discovered, chromosomes were not discovered, so no one was ready to accept his laws of inheritance, and he died in year 1884. And after his death, that is around 16 years after his death, the three scientists recognized his work, and those three scientists were the Hugo de Vries, and that is Schermark. It was the Schermark and the Correns. These three people, they recognized his work, and they only could rediscovered, and then Mendel's work got republished. Then at that time in 1901, after the 17 years of his death, his work got republished in the work done by the de Vries. Published his work in Flora in year 1901. Okay, so now we'll start discussing about the terms which are very frequently used in the genetics, and that first one is the genes. What are the genes? Genes are the fundamental physical and functional unit of heredity. Fundamental, functional and physical unit of heredity. So it helps in the transmission of character from the generation to generation. That is what, this is the genes which Mendel called as factor. This is the Mendelian factor. So Mendelian factor is nothing but it is the genes, and gene has the specific position over the DNA. When we talk about the DNA, DNA has the thread-like structure, and we have discussed in our 11th class also that the DNA is the double helical structure, and it is made up of the bases. What are those bases? H, T, G and C. 4 bases are arranged in a different specific manner to make the single DNA, and there is a specific position of each and every gene over the DNA. So that particular position which is occupied by the genes on the DNA, that is the position of gene over DNA, is called as the gene locus. Called as the gene locus. So this fundamental, functional and physical unit of heredity, that is called as genes, carry the information. Which information? That is this genetic information, carry the information from generation to generation. Generation to generation. And now what is the genotype? What is the genotype? Genotype is the genetic constitution of an individual. It is the genetic constitution of an individual. We can take the example when we are considering any character or any trait. For example, if we take the character that is height in the pea plant. So in tallness there may be two genotypes. This is a genetic makeup of an individual, not the physical. The physical appearance is tallness, that is the height of the plant, and that plant may be tall or may be dwarf. The plant may be tall or dwarf. There are two characters. So this tall character may be represented by this genetic composition, or it may be this, either these letters, two homozygous. This is the homozygous condition, and this is the heterozygous condition. And the dwarf character, which is the recessive, can be expressed in an individual plant only in the homozygous condition. When two recessive alleles, what is allele? I will let you know. So first we understand the genetic constitution of an individual is called as the genotype. And let us discuss about the alleles first. What is allele? When we discuss about the diploid condition, what is diploid condition? When an individual have the two sets of chromosome for every character, that is, one come from the father and other come from the mother, and the two homologous chromosomes, these two homologous chromosomes will be similar in shape, size, position of genes, kind of genes. So, two homologous chromosomes are similar in first, homologous chromosomes come from two parents. One come from the maternal side and other come from the paternal side. And they are similar in shape, size, kind of genes and the position of genes. So, if we discuss about the tall height or the height only, so the genes which are responsible for the height will be present on one specific position. And it may be possible that the offspring has got the height for tallness, and the tallness is represented by, always you remember that the dominant character will be represented by the capital letter. What is that? Dominant character will be represented by capital letter. And recessive character will be represented by the small letter. So, if this individual has the homologous chromosome, we are discussing about the character tallness, that is the trait or the physical character which has to be expressed. For the tallness, one individual must have two chromosomes. For this two chromosome, one he has got from the mother side and other he or she has got from the father side. Then only the characters can be expressed. The characters can be expressed only when the two homologous chromosome coming from two different mother and father. So, on this homologous chromosome, it may be possible the individual has got one dominant gene from the mother and recessive gene from the father. There is one possibility I am telling you. So, then the genetic composition will be T and T. This is the diploid condition. That is, the individual has got this capital, that is the dominant gene from the mother side and the recessive gene from the father side. This is the genetic constitution. That is what? Genotype. But what will be the physical appearance? The physical appearance will be that if the two alleles, these are the alleles. The alleles are the genes which occupying the same position over the DNA and they are responsible for the same character. Different form or the similar, either contrasting feature or the similar form, but for the same character. So these are two alleles, T capital and T small is the allele. These are the alleles. The alleles are the genes. Alleles are the genes present on the same position over DNA, and they are responsible for the same character. So here we can see this capital T is responsible for the tall height, and this small t is responsible for the dwarf height. And as we have discussed previously, that is, and dwarf height is recessive to this what, tall height. So recessive character cannot make its appearance in presence of the dominant character. The character, and this is the heterozygous condition, the character which cannot make its appearance, which cannot be expressed, which cannot be expressed in heterozygous condition, is known as recessive character. Recessive character. And other character which make its appearance, in heterozygous condition. Heterozygous condition is called dominant character. Dominant character. We can easily understand this concept and by taking different examples from the pea plant only. That is, first is the height, that is T is the letter which indicating the dominant character. What is the dominant character? Tallness. And the small t indicates the dwarfness. So these are two alternative form of the character. What character? Height. Both of these forms represent the height. So these two alleles which are responsible for this character must be present on the same position on the DNA. And so these alleles are also homologous, and these two chromosomes are also homologous, which are responsible for the same kind of genes, but they are coming from two different parents. One homologous chromosome will come from the mother side and the other will come from the father side. Now we can take the character of shape. What are the two shapes in the Pisum sativum seed? That is, one is round and other is wrinkle. As we have discussed that round is dominant over wrinkle, so we can indicate the R by round by R. We can take any letter. We are using it for the convenience, just to make you understand. So we can take any letter, but it must be represented by the capital letter. So dominant character is represented by the capital letter and the recessive character is represented by the small letter. So capital R and capital R. And one individual has got this round character gene from the one parent and wrinkle character gene from the other parent. So these are the gametes. If it is haploid, it is gamete. Okay, this condition is present in the gamete. How does it happen? I will let you know. First we will discuss about this R and R. So when the two alleles are present together, this is the heterozygous, because alleles are not similar. Alleles are contrast. One is round and another is wrinkle. This allele is responsible for the round shape and this allele is responsible for the wrinkle shape. So they are the contrasting alleles. They are responsible for the contrast characters. So this composition is the heterozygous condition. Understand, this is the heterozygous condition. Okay, and in heterozygous condition only dominant character will appear. So the individual seed will be round. Even it will be having both of these alleles in its DNA. In its cell, these both alleles will be present together, but only one can make its appearance. So that allele will be the dominant allele, and that character is the dominant character. Okay, if we take the example of this is the homozygous condition. That means one individual has got the round shape from the male parent as well as the round shape from the female parent. Okay, so now this individual has got its round shape genes allele from the mother and the round shape allele from the father also. So it is the homozygous condition. Or the individual might have got the wrinkle shaped seed character from the male parent or the father and the wrinkle from the mother. So this is also the homozygous condition because the alleles are similar in their trait. Both the alleles are responsible for the wrinkle shape. Here both the alleles are responsible for the round shape. Similarly, both the alleles are responsible for the yellow color. Both the alleles are of same type. So these are homozygous condition. If one is of yellow color, other is of green color, this is the heterozygous condition. So that the alleles, homologous alleles, must be coming from two different parents, but they are responsible for the similar or contrasting form of one character. What's the character here? Color of the seed. What is the character here? Shape of the seed. This is the homozygous condition. Okay, this is the heterozygous condition. This is also the homozygous condition. Understand? And the recessive character can be appeared only in the homozygous condition. These recessive characters can be expressed only in homozygous condition when two recessive alleles are present together. Then only they can represent or express their character. So that wrinkle character, that is the wrinkle shape, can be expressed only when the wrinkle alleles responsible for wrinkle shape are present together. That is in homozygous condition. Green color of the seed can be expressed only when the two alleles are of similar kind. Similarly, the dwarfness can be represented or expressed by the individual when the two alleles, recessive alleles, are present together. So recessive characters can be expressed only in homozygous condition.